Hey, everybody. Welcome to episode 94 of the Almost Daily Show with your hosts, Chandler, and
The Dave Picardi.
we're super excited for this episode. I was on a little vacation, so we haven't done an episode in a couple of weeks, but we are back in action, ready to roll. And at this point, I think we're going to take over the world.
Yeah, so it's a small world that we ordered off of Amazon, and it fits in the palm of our hand.
Mm-hmm.
But we will take it over.
The song is "It's a Small World After All."
That is amazing, Chan. We should definitely should call the attorney and get that trademarked.
Yeah, it's already trademarked. That's ours.
I love it. So good.
Yeah, good times.
Can you tell everybody about your vacation? How was Hawaii?
Yeah, Hawaii was fun. We went to the island of Honolulu, went to Waikiki. I kind of have this thing where I just roll deep into the actual territory instead of stay in the touristy areas. So we ate a lot of island food, a lot of stuff that I can't pronounce. Like one's called lau lau, so I just call it ao nao brown cow. And it makes it a lot easier.
I like it.
We ate all kinds of loco mocos, lau lau, huapia, all this stuff that I can't pronounce and I'm butchering it. So then I just make my own terms up. We went diving, or I scuba dove 4 times. One time was like 130 feet deep to a shipwreck, which was pretty cool. And then we snorkeled all over the place because Steph's pregnant, so she can't dive.
Oh, next time she'll be able to dive.
Yeah, we'll get her.
That's okay though. I'm sure snorkeling is just as good.
Yeah,
I've never gone diving before, so I'm not too sure if it even works for me.
Oh man, you'd love it. It's incredible. There's nothing better than being like deep in the water and just underneath with all the little fish and everything and rolling around.
That's cool. And is there any monster sharks or anything out there?
There was a little reef shark rolling around.
Yeah.
And I was taking pictures of it, got kind of close to it. Steph was like, "You're pretty close to that reef shark." I was like, "Well, it was all for the picture. It's all that matters."
That thing would get me out of the water faster than no way I would stay in the water with that.
Yeah,
I was surfing at Southern California at a spot, and a leopard seal swam right underneath me, and I was balancing on top of that board, not getting anywhere near the water. Freaked me out.
That's exciting. There's nothing better than when a shark rolls up on you, because then you're like, "Hey, guy."
Yeah. Well, I would do my best impersonation of water. I would be out of that water,
running through the water. Like, look, he can run so fast.
Oh yeah, we don't belong. We don't belong in that water with those big fish.
Sure, you are not an apex predator in that water.
I am not. So, hey, for the show today, we really need to talk about. I know our topic was going to be sex sells, but maybe we don't make it that in your face. But we should talk about what does sell. What are people looking for? What attracts people to the business?
Yeah, we find that we want to attract the type of client that is obviously our best client, or the people who are going to be the best to come in and utilize our products or services. And so you have to look at 2 things. You have to look at oh, that's me moment. So there's people like me doing it, so I can be like them. And so if you're focusing on that realm, you have to focus on people who are in the same situation or were in the same situation as the people looking for what you're doing. So in the fitness industry, you show someone who talks about how they still can't do a pull-up, or how they've been on this really good journey and they're not a crazy person with a nipple tank throwing barbells against the wall. And you just have to show that realism. And then on the other side, it's showing people where they could be. And so the one of the more powerful words in marketing and building stuff like this is imagine. So getting people to imagine things. And so you can get them to imagine where they could be. So like, look at this person, look where they're at now, look where they were at before, and look at the journey they've gone to get to this point. Then you get them thinking about it, like, wow, they were where I was at, and then they participated in this journey, and all of a sudden now they're killing it and they're crushing it and they're doing everything that I wish I could do, and they're in the position where I want to be. And I think that's really how you showcase to people that they can do it and that it's just like them.
Yeah, it is so important. And I mean, over the years, we've had people that have come into the gym and, they'll show you a picture. I want to look like this guy, or I want to look like this girl. And from, we all know from being fitness professionals that maybe it's not reality. Maybe their body type's not going to work for that. You go, well, this girl's 5'9" and you're 4'11", so it's never going to happen. But that doesn't mean that's not what they have in their head for an image, right? That's what, a real simple concept is everybody does want to look good naked, right? So when you get out of the shower and there's that mirror, that's what they want. So you need to, regardless of, they might have symptoms and other problems of high blood pressure and different things, but ultimately they just want to look better, feel better. But don't discredit the look better first, because people might say all these things, but they really want to look better first.
Yeah, and that comes from the fact that people are, even if they say they don't care, people are ultimately 100% self-conscious about the way they look, the way they walk, the way they talk, and all of that stuff. And just the fact that they can feel like other people aren't judging them, or other people really enjoy what they look like, or won't say anything bad about them, that's one of the more powerful motivators. And it's the reason there's so many people who are insecure. They need that ability to say, oh, hey, look what I'm doing. Look how special I am right now. And it gives them that certain amount of confidence, because people in everyday life and people in general don't have any confidence and they don't believe in themselves. So if you can show them that they can do it, and then if you can show them that they have the ability to believe in themselves and other people will care about them, it's a really powerful motivator for them to actually do things.
Exactly. So what types of things would we recommend, Jim? Besides, I mean, obviously, like, I like the feel-good stories, and I like all that, but from a picture side and putting out content, what are we recommending here?
Yeah, so I think when you're doing this kind of stuff, you really have to put yourself in a position to where you're showcasing the ultimate. You need two things. You need to tell stories. So if we have the videos, we're obviously telling a story about someone's journey, but we can also write the story down on a blog. This is a transformation story, or a story of the journey. And then in addition to that, everybody should have before and after pictures and stuff like that set up. So you can have a success wall, or whatever you want to call it. So it shows all of the people who have gone through your programs and services, and it shows all the where they started, where they're at now. So you have two pictures. Usually they're strikingly different. So it's a really big motivator and a really big help for other people trying to get into this thing. And then you underneath the transformation pictures, you maybe write their whole story that you interview them about, and you write all that down. And then in addition to that, you get a video about it. And so everything should be centered around telling the story to establish that imaginary, or that dream, to where they could be there. Like, you could do this too. Look where this person started. And so you have to think of it in the mindset of, who do I have who has experienced a pretty aggressive or pretty impressive transformation, or something that changed their life? And it doesn't just have to be like weight loss. It can be a mental transformation, or getting over diseases and stuff like that. And then, okay, now I need to make sure that I'm taking pictures of them, and I need to make sure I'm getting an interview, and I need to make sure I'm putting up videos that showcase the success. So that way I'm capturing all the parameters of what people are doing. So I'm getting the written word down, I'm getting the visual, which is really powerful. And then I'm getting the video, which is probably one of the most powerful, because you have the person actually talking about it.
And once you have all this stuff rolling with the content, you have a place to collect it, put it together. Just remember that, you don't have to have one way in your funnel. If you have a great story, and it was someone that overcame, certain obstacles, or they had certain medical problems that they've overcome, you can write that story specifically for that type of marketing campaign, where you then push it out looking for people just like that person, so that it's a personal story that ties in with them. You don't want to, if someone, it's a big weight loss story, and you don't use that to get people that are looking for more performance-based, or, if they're not concerned about weight loss, then you're not going to get other clients, And so if you have a performance-based story, specifically market that to those types of people, so you can have multiple funnels coming in with different types of content that's driving them in for different types of people that are looking for different things. Doesn't always have to be the one.
Too. So by doing that, we're setting ourselves up in a position to where you're creating those, oh, that's like me moment. And you're creating those moments where people feel comfortable with what you're doing. So you're saying, okay, I have weight loss stories. I have people who got over autoimmune diseases. I have people who got over all these different problems. I have kids who are focusing on performance and all of these. And so I can put those out and specifically target it to those people. So that way I have all these transformation or success stories from the different things that I do. And if you don't do all of these things, you don't have to go out and try to make it all happen. Just focus on what you're doing, what you're good at, and what you're passionate about, because that's when the real successful stories come out. And then you have to build systems around it. So I've had someone in for 30 days. Okay, I need to make sure that I get a reminder to ask them to do a video, and I need to get a reminder to do an interview with them, and I need to make sure on the first day I get a picture, on the 21st day I get a picture, and then on the 30th day I get a picture. So that way I'm reminding myself to do all of these things, because if you don't do...
And you get a lot of pictures.
Which is exciting, because if you don't have systems around these things, you're never going to be able to do it. You won't remember to do it, especially when you have hundreds of people rolling around and a bunch of people coming in every week and staff managing a lot of these things.
Yeah, I think it's the biggest place where everyone fails, right? You know, you need it. You need to put something in place, but it has to get done once you put it in place. And the gym we own and manage, that, you know, over the years, like, you know, you have it working well, then it's not out of nowhere, and you go, wait a minute, if you weren't paying attention to it, you know, it stops for a few months, and you're like, why did it stop? Nobody said stop. But that's the big part of having somebody ultimately be the manager or responsible for it or whatever. It needs to be somebody's job, and there needs to be a system in place to make sure it's happening. Because in order for either stabilization and or growth, you need testimonials. You need to show people that, you know, paint the picture for them. This can be you. It needs to be everywhere in your material, right? You need to show people where they can be and create that buzz to get them in.
That's it. You're just creating the like-minded mentality. I can do that. You've motivated me, and now I'm ready to go. And if you're focused on a high-value program, that's really how we have to win. You win by telling stories. And there's this concept of the elephant and the rider when we tell stories. And the whole concept is centered around the fact that people think and act in two different ways. There's the elephant, which is the irrational mind that just makes decisions on a whim, doesn't think about it, isn't analytical, and just does it. And then there's the rider, who's seemingly in control, but is the more rational, analytical side. And when someone sees something, they immediately think from the elephant. The elephant pushes the rider to the side. And so that's why when people are in political arguments, it goes from, I like this, and then the other person says, rah, 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 I hate you, bad words, bad words. And so that's the elephant taking over. So we need to make sure that we speak to the elephant when we're doing this. And that's why stories are powerful, because the elephant can understand stories. It doesn't have to be as analytical. It just needs to be powerful and motivate that elephant mentality.
Yeah, it's important. It's important for you guys to understand that. And when you're creating all this content and pushing it out, you need to be on top of it. It's not some passive thing that you kind of get going. Somebody really needs to be in charge of it. You know, if you're not able to do all of this type stuff in the marketing and run the business and do all the other things, and you need to get a co-manager or put somebody else in charge of the other things, so you can focus on this. No elephants.
It's
riders.
Elephant first, then rider. And it's a challenging thing to get in the mindset of, because we imagine and think that people are going to be analytical and rational, but in reality, people are the opposite. They're not analytical, and they're highly irrational, and they make quick decisions, and they make like emotional decisions, and that's the elephant thinking. And it's the way the brain's organized. So we need to get through the elephant, so then we can speak to the rider when they actually come in and see us. And that's the biggest part. Break the mold by speaking to the elephant, and then showcase to the rider what can ultimately happen when you actually get them inside what your facility or inside what you're doing, because then you can actually speak to the analytical side without the elephant pushing it around.
That's right. It's funny. I use that metaphor to talk to my kids about how to debate people politically.
Oh man, it's such a funny concept too, because when you're in the political realm, you think about the elephant and the rider, and it's so true. You say anything regarding something that one person doesn't believe in, and it turns into this, like, it's like like the Peanuts teacher, bop, 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 and then 25 minutes later, they've
right. My kids, I mean, it was really cool because my kids are really good politically and even debating, but we've actually had to work on it over the years. It's, you know, it's the same mentality of dealing with people when they come into your facility and how you run your business. When the emotions come out, things get crazy, and you got to remember that most of the time when you're putting out content and you're getting people to come in, they're emotional. The only reason they're coming in to see you is something emotionally has triggered them to make this move. And so you have to remember that that's the state that you're getting people in. And your job is to try to connect, you know, your program to their emotional, to their elephant, right? And move them into more of a rational approach and how it all lines up and how it's going to help them. Because you can't just stay on the emotional side, because then nobody wins.
That's it. You have to learn to understand and be empathetic to what people are doing and move yourself away from your child state. So when you say someone attacks you for the political views or whatever, it's easy to get drawn into it, but you have to say, hey, I got to pull my elephant back and start talking rationally so that I can actually drive this person in, speak to their elephant, and work them into a position to where they trust me. And the elephant is the one who essentially doesn't trust anybody. And so you have to build that with these powerful stories. How do I get the irrational mindset to care about what I'm doing and to immediately say, okay, I can do that. And then eventually speak to the rational mindset. But remember, it has to go through the irrational mindset first before we can speak to the rational side.
Right. So something else, Wes, here we are talking about this, and all of a sudden it went higher level.
That's right.
So this is the hard part with the marketing. And you know, we find we have great clients that, you know, they come in from all different, I guess, ranges and expertise and stuff. But they all end up in the same place, I think. But ultimately, like, understanding that you have to have a system in place. Like, so, you know, creating content. What's our concept going to be? What's our brand message going to be? And then it's how do we deliver that content? Now let's write ads in. You know, we've created this system where we have this awesome thing going with leads coming in. But what Shannon and I have found, and what just happens is everybody's at different points with how they handle clients. What's the communication look like? What does the system, you know, the sales system, what does the nurture system look like? So we end up having to dive into all that as well, just because just the marketing side alone and having this complete system that creates content, delivers leads. Yeah, it's great, right? But if you're not able to do all the other things, you need a little help there too. So that's probably why we ended up diving into all that as well.
Yeah, right? I think you can't necessarily understand the consumer mindset if you don't understand the way the brain actually works and functions. And so I think it's a really important idea to get in that mindset, to understand that when you're building this stuff, you have to understand and know that people are not rational in the decisions they make. They don't make purchasing decisions based on analytical data. They don't make purchasing decisions based on what things say. They make purchasing decisions based on how emotional they get about the product or service and how much they feel or perceive that they need it. It's why someone goes and buys a Coach purse for however much, $2,000, and it goes on a credit card. And it goes on a credit card. And it's because they feel like, oh, I need this because this will make me cool. This will make me special. This is status. Do I need this piece of leather, this thing that doesn't do anything for me, and it's probably the same as something bought in a flea market? Right. No, but I feel special, and I feel that I'm elevated above people because I have it. And so that's what you have to do and build and create, is that need and that feeling in the consumer mindset. And that's the idea of the way the elephant works.
Yeah. And we see it, I mean, in a gym business, that everyone's just all this price thing, and everyone's thinking, oh, I can't charge that much, or I'm going to charge less. And it's got nothing to do with the money, like nothing to do with it. It's just, if you're not setting up your message and you're not having, you know, your before and after pictures and connecting to people's emotion, you're not going to get the sales. You're not going to get the people in the door. And if you're connecting right to the emotion and you're doing a really good job telling stories and having people feel like they're a part of your story, they're coming in and paying, right? Regardless of your price, they're paying. It's like when I shop for anything, I don't even know what happens to me. I'll buy whatever I want when I want it. So if I say I want that car, I don't care what it costs. If I'm at Best Buy and I'm like, yep, I want that. I don't even price shop it. I probably should. Should I start doing that, Chan?
No, keep using your elephant. It's perfect.
Right. So I go through life as an elephant when it comes down to my emotions. If I want something, it's happening.
Yeah.
And same with the gym. I mean, if I want to train my martial arts stuff, it doesn't, if I decide I'm training with a certain martial arts instructor, I never ask him his price, or I don't make the decision and then say, okay, Chan, I want to learn from you, and then say how much, and have you say, it's $200 an hour, and me think about
exactly.
it. I've already thought about it. I don't care how much. If you told me $500 an hour, that's what it costs. But I've already made my decision emotionally that I want to train with you.
Exactly. People can and will pay for anything. There is no, obviously you have to be somewhat price conscious, but there is no price barrier. It's a barrier of how much you've created a need around your service. And so are you unique? Are you different? Have you created that brand, that identity where people feel like they have to have it, like the Coach purse? I have to have this because the name on the thing. And if you haven't created that, then you're in trouble, because nobody will pay for what you offer because you're seemingly the same. And so it's really important that you understand that the whole time you're doing this in marketing is you're speaking to the elephant. People do not care about numbers, data, analytics, anything. They just care about how good they're going to feel.
That's right. I'm going to use your Coach purse thing. I got to use it. So a really good way to think about this is if you were there's only one place in the area that sells real Coach purses, and that's your gym, maybe.
Yeah.
Right. And everybody else has the same thing, except they're all knockoffs, and everybody's saying the same message, showing the same stuff. Why would somebody pay all that extra money for the real thing when everybody else has them for $5 each? Right? It's your story. It's your message. It's how much content you're putting out, and does it actually matter to people emotionally? You have to put the work in on that side of it. And if you do, right, like I've seen some stuff coming out where it's like content marketing is a waste of time, right? Storytelling is a waste of time. And it's all about, running really good ads, right? But that's not true. You have to do it all, right?
Exactly. And you have to do it all if you want to play the long-term game and have longevity ongoing, because we can run something that works really well, but when it stops working, if you don't have that differentiation created, and if you aren't speaking to the elephant constantly, you're not going to have a following that cares about what you're doing. And so you're always going to be playing the flavor of the week, which is not a fun game to play. Flavor.
Unless you're into different flavors.
Yeah. Like Baskin Robbins, 31 flavors, 21. How many is it now?
I don't even know.
It's too many.
So
anyway, this was a good episode. We had some tactical advice that you guys should follow up on. And then we also had some high-level stuff that you guys should think about. And anytime you're designing and building something in your marketing, think about it from the elephant viewpoint. It has to be capturing their emotions, capturing their attention, making them feel special, and making them feel like they're going to be elevated. And then you win.
For the win.
For the win.
Good.
All right, you guys.
All right, bud.
Good stuff. We will see you guys next time. It's been fun. It's been real. And it's been real fun.
It's been real fun.
All right. See ya.
Later.